Everything you need to know about the upcoming new Rust console game that will be dedicated to the next generation of consoles. Welcome back to the channel everyone. We're going to be deep diving into the upcoming Rust console edition for next gen consoles and going into the latest details and as well things you may have missed out or you're just not informed on as of yet. Whilst we're going to be talking about things that are confirmed, we're also going to look in between the lines of the new latest devlog and their messages, I guess via their social medias, and going into what could happen for the upcoming game. First and foremost, let's talk about the graphics and performance. So the transition to next-gen consoles, being the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S, brings significant graphical improvements to RCE. Players can expect enhanced visuals and improved performance and more immersive experience that leverages the advanced capabilities of the modern hardware, being the new-gen consoles, with them being hindered by the old-gen consoles. So whilst the exact graphical fidelity compared to the PC version hasn't been put into full detail, the next-gen consoles edition aims to bridge the gap, offering a visually compelling experience that closely mirrors the PC's high quality graphics. So Double 11 have been dropping these graphical comparisons between new and old gen, basically comparing what the game is going to look like. Now, by the way, these look significantly different in the gameplay trailer or the teaser trailer that we had around 2 weeks ago. One thing to note is that gameplay trailer or teaser trailer was in development. So all of these new graphical improvements, we're seeing the graphics improve day by day, week by week with these comparisons, which is really promising to see that we're going to be seeing a lot better graphics in the future. In terms of performance, we don't really have the exact details on that. However, what I can say is that I have relayed your cries as for performance meeting the graphical improvements as well. We don't want a graphically beautiful game and then still having 30 FPS and lag everywhere. This is something I relayed back to Pedro, and Pedro said not to worry, we're definitely on that in terms of performance. Going into the RCE graphics versus the PC graphics, there's obviously some notable changes. It seems as if the RCE version has got a filter on it, like a sepia filter from Instagram, if you remember back in the day. It's got a more orange, old standing look to it, whereas the PC graphics like clear cut, 4K. So obviously they are going to be better than the RCE graphics for this new upcoming game. And these, obviously, I have to give credit to Jeremy Butters. Just a quick overall specs for these graphics that he's showing us from the PC. GeForce RTX 570 with a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D. So that is the graphics card and the CPU. Now the good thing about console is that obviously everyone has the same hardware, right? Apart from obviously if you have an X and an S, or the upgraded version of the PS5 and the low graded version PS5, that's where the difference comes in. But with PC, there's a really huge variety depending on the budget you can for PCs. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of a consistent experience in terms of graphics and performance with consoles rather than you do on the PC. So let's jump into the release date and pricing. So as of now, Double 11 have not announced a specific release date for the next gen version of Rust console edition. However, they aim to launch it sometime in 2025. It's pretty much confirmed up until this point that it will release in 2025, so not to worry unless something goes incredibly wrong. 2025 is going to be the release year for this game. So regarding pricing, the details have yet to be disclosed. The developers have mentioned that they are exploring ways to reward existing players for their support, suggesting potential discounts or incentives for current owners of the game. More information on this is expected to be shared in the coming months, and I do believe April will be the month we see when this game will either come out or the price for it. Now what I can say is that I did mention to Pedro about a sort of thing that they can do to reward the players for buying the game, and also the past time that they've had in the last 4 years on it, on the current gen version. And what he has said is that basically everything is in place and they're just refining the little details, whether there is a price or not. I would say if I was you, expect there to be a price, and if there isn't, great, you can feel good about it. But if you expect it to be free and then there's a price point in place, then you're going to feel like, oh, I feel like I'm being mugged off. Do I think it should be free? Of course everyone thinks it should be free, but hopefully if the right cost is met, then I guess it's fair. However, if they are charging like £30-50 or dollars, then I do think that's sort of a joke. Aside from the price of the game, everything you have currently in terms of Rust coins and skins, will they relay or be passed over onto the next gen version of the game? Yes, they will. So all your in-game purchases, including your Rust coins and skins, will be carried over to the next gen version. Your skins will be carried forward and will look more crisp. And just quickly to put a graphic in a comparison, something that a lot of people asked for, they have given us the hazmat kind of scarecrow skin for comparison. There's obviously a difference, but I think we're more thinking of, can you show us like an AK skin, MP5 skin, one of the guns, whilst we're looking at the gun, rather than like a third person point of view of a hazmat skin. However, they've given it to us and it does look different, and I do believe the skins will look a lot better, which will only promote the skins to be bought better than they already are, because the skins, let's be honest, they don't look that great in game. Let's say you can't afford a new gen version of the game, but you'll still be able to play the game. So good and bad news. Bad news is pretty much the old gen versions of the game will eventually meet its fate with not getting any updates. And what we can say from Double 11 is that they've said you can keep playing the original console version of the game for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and server wipes will still happen as usual. However, all future updates and new features will only come to the next gen version. We might still add improvements and fixes to the original version if needed, but this is not guaranteed. Basically saying that there will be a sunset and a fate for the old gen consoles, and they've had their day. Let's be honest, we're still half a decade into the new / current gen of consoles, so old gen really does need to be fizzled out in my opinion. So let's talk about confirmed and not so confirmed updates for this game that we know of in time. So Devblog 37 really gave us a little glimpse as to what we can expect for the new gen version of this game. So make no mistake, we can basically get a lot of things for the game. So me saying that I think Excavator might come is no shot in the dark, because it can happen. One thing we probably must do is look at what PC did and follow the routine of that, and not get our hopes really high. But the thing is to sell this game, they've got this roadmap coming up, and I do believe that they will put updates that the community have been crying out for, one we're going to be speaking about in just a second. However, something they did put up, Double 11, last week was this. The question is, will there be bigger maps and higher populated servers with the new gen version of the game? Their answer was yes, although not at launch. Higher pop servers and bigger maps will be added to the game in a future update. And this is something which was seen on Devblog 37. What else was mentioned on Devblog 37? Land vehicles, minicopters, and bigger maps. So for context, this paragraph that they were talking about these was that if they added them, the gameplay for the current version of the game would be compromised. And also in their second paragraph, if we look at the bottom part, it would cause serious FPS drops. Now let's go to the last paragraph that they were talking about the next gen version of the game. They said a native 9 version of Rust Console Edition, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S is clearly the solution, meaning that is the solution for gameplay add-ons and updates such as minicopters, bigger maps and land vehicles. Now it's a 50-50 shot whether we see that minicopters or land vehicles will be confirmed coming to the next gen version of the game in an upcoming Q&A. However, from a business standpoint, it would more make sense for them to add that into the roadmap, given that they've tested cars and they've also tested minicopters. They even had it from a survey back in 2021, and they also said that there was a couple bugs to do with the sound from PlayStation 5, as well as some more compromising gameplay features if it was to come to the current version of the game. So for them to add it to the roadmap, that would be a huge ad campaign for people to purchase the game and get on board with it. Another thing that they have confirmed is that there will be an anti-cheat in this game, and obviously we're not going to get that many details, because the more details they give out, the more people can bypass the anti-cheat. And whilst a lot of people are not really confident that this anti-cheat will work, it's better than obviously nothing. The developers have been actively engaging with the community, addressing frequently asked questions and providing insights into the transition to obviously the next gen consoles game. They've confirmed that existing accounts, Rust coins and skins like prior will carry over to the new gen version that we've covered. So additionally, whilst the original consoles will continue to function, future updates and obviously new features will be inclusive to the next gen version. And the team Double 11 is working on implementing obviously an anti-cheat measures to ensure a fair gaming environment. And one final thing to end off the video is that we will be getting a new FOV. This was confirmed by Double 11 in one of their comments, I believe on Twitter or Instagram, where someone had asked about the FOV and they confirmed it. I'll try and find a screenshot and put it up for you right now. But other than that, that is all we've really really know, for Rust Console Edition next-gen version of Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. I strongly recommend to you that you join up my Discord in the description. You can talk about all things Rust, but also keep up to date with the latest news. I have graphical comparisons as well as all latest updates surrounding Rust Console from Double 11, whether it be in their Discord or on their social media platforms that you may not have access to, because I know a lot of you are banned. Other than that, that's all we know. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video and it was informative to you, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. We are nearly at 7,500 subscribers already, which is just insane at this point. So I can only thank you for the support and the continued support you give over all my social platforms such as Twitter and also TikTok that you can find in the description as well. Thank you as always for watching, and take care.